that they pushed forward when I was feeling absolutely terrible, sleeping 14 hours a day. I've been sick as a dog like the last 2 weeks, and this would not be possible without specifically those two, and as well as all the other volunteers that I'm sure Steve will mention here, because he's better with names than I am currently. So a big thank you, and make sure you guys go around and thank them for helping me out. They've just been tremendous. Okay, so I thought, a lot of you probably heard my story before, but I thought I would just kind of, for those of you who have not heard the story, I just kind of start over and tell you how this whole thing began. A few years ago, I was like most of you people out there, I was happily married, had a great job, career at a mortgage company, and the year before, I believe, we were the #1 producing, it's like the year before that, we were the #1 producing branch for our entire mortgage operation up and down the West Coast there. So I went from making a great income, having a very solid marriage, and 3 wonderful but energetic kids, to having, think skipping? Okay. He's coming up here to fix us, rescue us. So I had income, I had money in the bank, I was in good condition, I would play basketball several times a week, I worked out, I was in great physical condition, and so forth. And then one day, everything kind of changed, kind of a blink of a moment. Hold on 1 second, I'm sorry. Okay, just play a different song or something like that, okay. So I had everything in my life I was really happy with. I had the picturesque dog and a great yard and a great house, and some of those things were gone before I was officially diagnosed with having cancer. But it wasn't too far. My marriage essentially was ending prior to the cancer, but talking to doctors, a large part of my inability to be a better husband and stuff was due to my cancer. It was in a part of my brain that affected my personality, my memory, my impulse control. So that certainly didn't help things with that avenue of things. And but even after that, I had a job where the cancer, when it happened, actually, I'll take you back a couple months. Several months ago, I was packing to kind of leave the house and helping my ex-wife out a little bit, and I passed out. I passed out because I thought I was just stressed. I never had gone through this before, and I was with my son. And I remember waking up and picking myself off the garage floor on some cardboard and thinking, well, that's really strange. But when I walked into the house, I couldn't remember my own son's name or who he was. I was really confused and disoriented for probably about 45 minutes. And I slowly started remembering who my kids were and what was going on. I didn't think much of it. I actually posted it on Facebook and told everyone, like I tell everyone everything in my life, I guess. And people thought I should go to the hospital, but I didn't. About 2 months later, I actually had a seizure at my house, and my friend Linda was there, and she witnessed it, thank goodness. Because when I woke up, I had no idea what had happened. I had no idea I had a seizure. I thought I was just resting, or I fell asleep or whatever, and it turned out that I did have a seizure, and I called my mommy, Colleen, and she recommended I would go to the hospital right away and get checked out. When I went to the ER, they said it's probably nothing abnormal, it could just be pressure or whatever, and I won't tell you the whole story, but time after time I talked to a doctor, it was like, oh, it's probably nothing big, but every time they come back, it was something god-awful. Like it's probably no big deal, it's probably just a tumor. Well, then it became brain cancer. It's probably just a light brain cancer, it's not going to be terminal. Well, it comes back, it happened to be the most terminal type of brain cancer that you could possibly get. And then they always say, don't read the internet or books about your own disease, which of course you do, right? If you got a cancer disease, you're going to read about it, and you start reading online and you read all these horrible things about it, like the average person lives like maybe about a year. And so far this time I've lived 2 years and about 2 months, which is long. It's about 93% of the people who had the same disease would have already passed away by this time. So I'm one of the lucky few who have made it this far. So I feel very blessed about that. Even though I've lost so much of my life, like my job, my marriage, my income, I've had to rely on so many people, like even the volunteers and people that come out to my event to even get by with my medical expenses. It's humbled me a great deal from what I'm used to, which is taking a lot of tropical vacations and having more money than I could possibly spend. Well, it's been done spent. So having to rely on other people, which I was not used to, and at first I was very resistant. And until a couple people told me that allowing people to give back to me wasn't about me needing the help so much as it was about those people feeling good about helping me out when I'm in a time of need. Even though I didn't want to admit it, I was able to eventually allow people to help me by volunteering or donating money or just having like Dennis or something come over and on a rough day, come over and cheer me up a little bit with some whiskey and Coke. So I had the cancer, I went through that, and it was going pretty good. I was fighting hard. Everyone knows my post where I came out very fiery, and I'm like, I'm going to kick cancer's ass and be strong, and I have a large part. But even today, where I look healthy outside and I sound good, I've been very sick for the last 2 weeks, and a lot of times you can't see it on the outside, but in the inside, I just feel terrible. Waking up, my son Nicholas spent the night last night, and he had to come in my bedroom this morning like 10 times, like, come on, Dad, get up. Seriously, we're going to be late. So I just can't get out of bed, and once I do, after sleeping 12 to 14 hours, it takes me about an hour and a half sometimes to take my medication, and for that medication to kick in before I'm even functional. Because I have a lot of pain in like every part of my body, from my head to my toes and every joint and stuff like that. So I may look good from the outside, but it's very torturous on the inside, not only mentally and physically, but a lot of the mental issues, like not having your kids around you all the time, that becomes very tough for me. So I'm always very happy to see them when they come over, or see them at events too. So I've lived for about 2 years now and been very happy, but I think a lot of people have identified with what I've gone through, because even though it is a terminal illness, and just like a friend of mine on the internet who had a seizure, about a month or so later, she did the exact same thing I do, she passed away. But she lived her life, and she was very positive throughout her entire cancer fighting ordeal, and she really was an inspiration to me to keep living my life and kind of act as if I didn't really have cancer. To be stronger in that, to not let it get me down every single day. And I'll be honest with you, I get down a lot about it, because I feel bad for my kids that they might not have their dad, when they become teenage boys or go on their first date. Really want to be there as much as I can to be there to teach them the right way, and to inspire them to be good young men, and to treat girls, the right way when they get girlfriends or when they get married, and how to throw a football the right way or throw a perfect pitch, which you're already pretty good at. But I guess one of the biggest things for me that I learned, I hope to share with you guys, if people are willing to learn, is I just couldn't believe how fast it happened. Like one day I was healthy, everything was perfect, and the next day I wasn't. And so I learned to appreciate that, just how quickly things can turn for us. And like I did a video called Blink of a Moment. It was about my disease, just how quickly things turned around for me. So those of you who have money in the bank, or feel really healthy today, are happy with their children, are happy with their spouses, maybe aren't taking care of their significant others like they should, and take that for granted, I just want to give you guys a caution out there that could all change in just a heartbeat, like it did for me. So I learned to appreciate everything for my children. Every moment I spend with them is like I try to create the perfect moment with them every time. I try to scrape up every piece of money that I have to make sure that they have a great time with me as much as I can afford. And it's not just my children, it's about my parents. I've never spent more time with my parents, visiting them and my family and my best friend Dennis, and plenty of other people out here like Nikki and Steve and other people in my family that I have this last 2 years, because I know, any moment I can have a seizure and be gone forever. I'm just living on borrowed time right now, pretty much. So I hope you guys who have those good lives, or even challenged lives right now that you fought and you are facing currently, if you are facing those tough times or have a perfect life, that you really slow down and just appreciate what you have around you, because I know going through a bankruptcy is emotionally tough, or having a serious illness is very tough on people, but I don't know much that is much harder to deal with than knowing that you're kind of lined up to pass away at any moment there. So it's a very tough mental thing to kind of swallow and keep yourself without freaking out every time. But one of the things that are very important to me is my kids, like I said. So I'd like to bring my children up here today, which is Ashton and Nicholas. Ashton does not want to speak today. Look at him. He's like, oh my God, my dad's totally going to embarrass me. It's not going to happen. I won't embarrass you. I have a younger son whose name is Noah, but he's actually at his other grandma's on a camping weekend with her. And he's my youngest little destroyer. This is Nicholas, and this is Ashton. And these are a big reason why I fight so hard every day. And I'm sure anyone who has children knows how tough it is. fighting illnesses and feeling like you can't do what you used to do, like ride a bike with your kids. Can't ride a bike anymore. I couldn't go swimming by myself in like the ocean anymore because I could have a seizure at any moment in time. So I just want to maybe ask Nicholas if he's got anything to say about maybe things you've done to help me. He's been a big help with chores and stuff, and when I feel sick, these guys have like a sixth sense to know when I'm getting sick again. And so both of them have done a remarkable job of, when I get ill, they tend to make me feel comfortable. But anything to say about me and our adventure this last 2 years?
I think we've done a lot. We've longboarded, we've cooked meals, we've played video games, we've kind of just done guy stuff this whole entire time, and I really appreciated that.
Good, thank you, buddy. Good job, good job. And I'm not going to make Ashton speak because he gets nervous speaking. You don't want to speak, right, buddy? Okay, but I'll talk for him because I know. Ashton is really tuned in to my illness too, and he can tell when I'm feeling down, whether it's depression, which sometimes I do get caught up with, or just feeling sick that day. He is so tuned into it that he almost immediately grabs a blanket, a pillow, makes sure I'm watching the right TV channels. We're coming down and watch shows that I know he has no interest in watching on TV, but he physically knows I can't get up and do much, like go outside and shoot hoops. He'll come over and put a blanket on me and just sit with me and rub my back or my head and make me feel better. So those are very special things that I just, those of you who have kids, I know you want your kids to do the same thing for you as well. But those are things I try to do, and the days I feel good, I always try to get out there and, while I can, get out there and try to ride a longboard, which I haven't rode a skateboard in 20 years probably. A longboard, just like a skateboard, just a little bit longer. So I just want to tell my kids and everyone in my family and all you guys out here who are supporting me today that thank you very much. I love everybody here. It's been a very tough year, but I'm grateful for everybody. Thank you. Yeah.